This is a lot more money than you might initially have thought this particular player would wind up getting. How did it get to a place where the Cowboys had no choice but to give it to him?
Two factors. It was a bad plan, and there was bad luck. The bad plan was 2 years ago, Greeny, when they signed Zeke Elliott instead of signing Dak Prescott. The bad luck was the pandemic. And in texting with people last night around this deal, it was simply untenable for the Dallas Cowboys to tag Dak Prescott at $37 million this year with the cap going down. And when you look at the numbers, they really are staggering. The number that really jumps out to me is $106 million in cash in 16 years between last year and this year. And what's really remarkable, Greeny, is the injury, the catastrophic injury he had last year actually helped him. It didn't hurt him. Now, in fairness, the one thing I would like to add is Dallas, their side of this is we come in at 5 years, about $191 million, which is about $38 million a year. So we come in a little bit less than Deshaun Watson. But make no mistake about it, by Dallas waiting and paying Zeke Elliott first, cost them, in my opinion, at least $8 million a year. What would have been $32 million 2 years ago turned into $40 million last night.
And I want to underline something that you said in there. In a 16-month stretch, he will wind up making $106 million in cash. Dak Prescott wins in a landslide. And Dan Graziano, what are your thoughts? You were making a point this morning that this might be the best contract in the NFL.
Oh, Greeny, I think it is. I mean, look, people are going to say, compare it to Patrick Mahomes' deal. It's not comparable. I mean, this guy's going to make $160 million in 4 years. The first 4 years of Mahomes' contract, he'll end up making $104 million. Those numbers aren't even close to each other. And then Dak Prescott, as Adam Schefter pointed out, gets to be a free agent again, assuming he plays well in the meantime. We can't even conceive right now of what the quarterback number is going to be 4 years from now or 3 years from now if Dallas wants to do an extension with him at that point. This is a home run for Dak Prescott and his agent, Todd France. I mean, they got literally everything. They got a record signing bonus, most guaranteed money at signing, $95 million, surpassing Matt Ryan's deal from a couple of years ago. The 3-year cash flow, the no franchise tag promise. Heck, they're going to franchise him today just as a procedural matter so that anybody else, whoever wants to franchise him years from now, would have to pay the 3rd-year franchise cost to do it. I mean, there's absolutely nothing they could have asked for, Dak Prescott and his agent, that they didn't get in this deal. They absolutely cleaned up.
Yeah, it's remarkable. And Mike Tannenbaum, I'm just thinking about something you said a moment ago, and it does strike me that so many things that you would have thought would have worked against Dak Prescott in this circumstance wound up working for him. He suffers a serious injury, a season-ending, terrible-looking injury while playing on the franchise tag. Your immediate thought is, well, that's a terrible thing to happen. It winds up benefiting him because it showed how much the team missed him. And then there's a pandemic. The salary cap winds up diminishing. There's less money to go around. An initial thought would be, well, that's terrible for a player looking to get paid. But to the point you made a moment ago, Mike Tannenbaum, it actually wound up working out well for him. So, Mike T., that's what you mean by luck. All these bad breaks wound up being good breaks for Dak Prescott.
Absolutely. And again, it goes back to 2 years ago, Greeny, and you talked about it. Dallas had control over Zeke Elliott's contract for years to come, at least 3 more years. That was the time to get a deal done. And when you wait in the NFL and a player keeps playing the way that Dak did, and we could argue, was it good or elite? And I know where Dan Orlovsky is on that. But when he's high character and you win a playoff game, there's just not enough good quarterbacks to go around. And they paid a massive premium by waiting, and that was a catastrophic mistake 2 years ago. Layer in the bad luck, and we saw the result last night.
Dan Orlovsky, does it change the expectations? This is such a unique circumstance. It's one thing to become so highly paid as he is and so public. The world, I think, sees this one, anyone who's really paying attention, a little differently. This was as unique a circumstance as I can ever remember in negotiation. Do the expectations now multiply based upon the contract for the quarterback?
Oh, unquestionably, the expectations are sky high because he's no longer the feel-good story 4th-round pick. He's now the 2nd highest paid quarterback in football. He now has potentially the greatest contract in the history of football. And so now the expectations are Super Bowl. I mean, that's what comes not only from within your organization, but comes from the outside as well. I mean, in the last 4 seasons, Dak Prescott led teams for the Cowboys are 7-18 versus teams with winning records. 7-18 versus teams with winning records. In those games, he's got 37 touchdowns and 36 turnovers. That won't cut it anymore. The expectation for that to flip. 18-7 versus winning teams and a way more touchdown to turnover rate. That's just the truth. That's just the facts. Okay, so I'm a person first. I'm super happy for Dak Prescott. Good for him. He beat the system and has an incredible story. And I'm an analyst second. The expectations will be wildly different. And very quickly, it will no longer be that feel-good story of the guy, that fourth-round pick that got the opportunity. So it's great for him, but now it is mandatory. You got to be the guy that breaks the curse, so to speak, of not winning for the last 25 years.
Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.